Recently, I've been having this observation about men in general. Not every man, but most men out there. I think it might be because of my personal experiences, from my experience and from the real-life examples that I've seen around myself. I'm not really sure if it's biased or if I'm the only one that's felt it, but the observation is that men doesn't like to be controlled. Now, no one likes to be controlled, but men in general, relative to women, don't like to be controlled. The moment someone tries to control a man, even gently, with care, with affection, something shifts. This shift for this man is not always very loud and very dramatic. It can be very subtle and light, but I'm pretty sure that there is a shift that happens when you try to control a man. And I've seen it in myself, I've seen it among my friends, I've seen it in fathers, I've seen it in multiple occasions. If you're a man watching this, I want you to think of a moment where you were told to do something. Or if you're not a man watching this, you can think of a moment that you told a man to do something. And I'm not talking about requesting someone to please take a cup of coffee or please drop me somewhere. I'm talking about ordering or telling someone, do this. You're supposed to do this. What you're doing is not right. Most of the time, even if the advice was good, even if the advice is caring and affectionate, it's not welcomed. Even when I was a teenager and my parents were trying to tell me things and trying to guide me and trying to show me the right direction, deep inside me, I knew that what they're trying to make me do was the right thing for me. I knew that firmly deep down. But first of all, I didn't want to accept it. And second of all, I didn't want to do it because I felt like I was being controlled, and I never wanted to be controlled. And I felt like this reaction that came from my side, and mostly from all the men out there, is not a logical reaction. It's just an automatic process that happens just like that, without any particular reason. Now, after being obsessed with this idea for quite a long time, I began doing a little research. I began to dig up a little bit, and I realized that this is a very common phenomenon, and psychologists called it reactance. Reactance is a situation when someone is feeling threatened because they feel that their freedom is being taken away, that their freedom is at risk, even when it's good for them. And it turns out that this is one of the most repeated findings in psychology since the 1960s. You can see it in mythology and history. I don't see a reason why we should speak of science here and psychology. Let's talk about Adam. Why was he thrown out of the heaven? Why was he sent to the earth? Because he desired for the forbidden fruit. The truth is, whenever something's forbidden, you automatically lean towards it. You want to try it. A lot of things that are bad, people get into it not because it feels good. They just get into it for the fun of it, to take the risk and enjoy taking the risk. At least in the beginning, they're not really enjoying it. They're just enjoying the risk that they're taking. And this is not unique to men. I think it just shows up in men a lot more than women. So multiple studies have shown that men report on, maintaining their autonomy on things more than women. It's not because women doesn't value freedom. Of course they do. They value freedom maybe as much as men. But men tend to fight for maintaining their identity. And being told what to do to a man is not just about the inconvenience. For a man, it feels more like you're attacking his identity. And his identity is based on his autonomy. So is not feeling autonomous. He's basically feeling that his identity is at a huge crisis. If you ask me to give a real-life example, the best one would be a father giving advice to his teenage son or to his adult son, which can be a very hard job for a father. And sometimes you can find out that the son does the exact opposite of what the father is trying to make him do, just to prove his point that he is autonomous and he doesn't want his father to guide him to the right path. And basically he doesn't care whatever the father is saying is right or wrong. For him, it's about being autonomous. It's about feeling that he is in control of himself and his choices. Even in a work environment, when a boss is trying to micro-focus on one particular employee, even if he was the star of the month, or the star of the year, the best performing employee, if you micromanage someone and be obsessed in perfecting a man and you chase behind him, it's gonna deplete his talents. It's gonna make things worse. You're gonna destroy him. All of this is not about the advice that the father is trying to give or the perfection that the boss wants from the employee, but basically it's that the employee and the son doesn't want to feel steered. They don't want to feel controlled. The self-determination theory says that human beings have 3 core fundamental psychological needs. It's autonomy, It's autonomy, competence, and relatedness. I just noted it down. So autonomy is not about wanting to be independent or alone or rebellious. It's about the feeling that you are in control of yourself and you are in control of your own actions. The moment someone else becomes the author of your choices, you begin to feel very, very uncomfortable. Well, so a really valid question can be, is this related to ego? Is this the manly ego? Well, I'd say it's not necessarily your ego. It's not pride either. It's basically identity protection. A man who is resisting someone else controlling him is not particularly saying that I know what I'm doing is right or I am right. He's not trying to argue that the guidance that he's being given is wrong. But this resistance stems from the way it's delivered, because it is an advice and it is basically steering him and not giving him a choice. So the same advice, the very same advice, if you frame it a bit differently and make it more like giving him a choice rather than giving him an advice or an instruction, things can turn out pretty different. And I'm also not saying that you should not control anyone and everyone should have their free choice and free will and let them do whatever they want. I'm not trying to get into that discussion. What I'm trying to say is, the moment you understand the mechanism that's functioning inside of a human being, the way you deal with them can change a lot, and hence the outcome shall be different. So if you want to change someone, especially a man, the delivery matters a lot more than what you're basically saying to him. The framing matters more than the content. I have no idea why I'm giving, tips on how to guide a man. I've never been successful in guiding someone, so I'm not really the right person to say that. But for me as a person, I've had very uncomfortable situations when I was being given orders. And I actually wish that I was being given a choice rather than an order, or I was being told that there is a better option rather than saying what I was doing is wrong. And it's very true that I've ignored a lot of good advices just because it wasn't advice, not because it was wrong, not because I knew that it was wrong. I knew it was right. I just ignored it. I just ignored it because why should I listen to them? I mean, why should someone else control my choices? Long story short, everyone wants to be the author of their own story. This is the only life you live, and you don't like it to be written by someone else. You don't like the story to be diverged in a way that someone else wants. It's your story, so you want to control it. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you remain the authors of your own story. But do consider choices that you're being given.